It's destroyed, shattered my life. Everything can point back to this event.
It's a crime that haunts this Colorado woman.
Did you have a romantic relationship with him?
I met him twice and he raped me. No.
But the man convicted in her case got himself off the sex offender registry.
And he's not alone. Denver 7's Jacqueline Allen found hundreds of names are removed from the registry each year.
Well, tonight she's talking to prosecutors who call this a legal loophole that needs to be closed.
Something needs to change. Something really needs to change.
This is Jacqueline Allen. I'm a reporter with Denver 7.
No comment.
We'd like to tell your side of the story. So can you talk to us about...
So these are pictures of myself and my family when I was 14 years old. I was just a kid.
In the album of Amy Stallon's life,
Cheerleading tryouts here.
these are her before photos.
I can see the sparkle.
Before it happened.
So I know for sure this was before.
Before everything changed.
A former coach at Arapahoe High School is under arrest tonight.
The story made headlines. 22-year-old lacrosse coach Matthew Buck pled guilty to attempted sex assault on a child by a person in a position of trust.
It was in the playground and
For Stallon, the headlines didn't tell the story. Almost 2 decades later, she now has a reason to tell.
that pea gravel. I remember it sticking to my skin and I was just like, I don't want to do this.
To her, everything following that night is after.
Kids put together that this crying girl in, the counselor's office was the one on the news, and so I was being called a slut.
Then, just 14 years old, she remembers going from popular cheerleader to social outcast overnight.
I had no friends. It was so hurtful.
That's when she tried to end her life the first time, and a lifelong battle with anorexia began. These are the after.
I think about dying every day. So often, I just want it to be over.
In stark contrast, Buck's story also takes a dramatic turn. After he went to prison in 2005 on a probation violation, this son of an attorney went to law school, passed the bar, now practices law in Denver, marijuana and criminal defense. Is it common to have felons practicing law in Colorado?
It is not common, but it does occasionally happen.
Colorado's Attorney Regulation Counsel, Jessica Yates, says yes, felons can be attorneys here if they meet character and fitness standards. Records obtained by Denver 7 from a recent court transcript show Buck downplayed his conviction to the bar, stating he was involved in a romantic relationship with a high school student.
Did you have a romantic relationship with him?
I met him twice and he raped me. No.
Mr. Buck was admitted in 2011.
Former Attorney Regulation Counsel John Gleason says the bar admission system in 2011 was dramatically different. His office took over shortly after, implementing a more thorough investigative process.
Without a doubt, there would be a much greater level of scrutiny on his application.
So Buck became an attorney, but still a registered sex offender, until a phone call last year.
This was the last thing I was expecting, and didn't know that it was possible.
Buck filed a motion to deregister.
I just think it was probably a loophole that was inadvertently created by the legislature.
Former Denver DA Mitch Morrissey says under Colorado law, certain sex offenses must stay on the registry for life. But Buck pled down to attempted child sex assault, eligible for deregistration after 10 years.
Do you think they need to close that loophole?
I think they should.
Denver 7 found hundreds of sex offenders deregister every year in Colorado. Hi, Matt. This is Jacqueline Allen. I'm a reporter with Denver 7.
No comment.
We'd like to tell your side of the story. So can you talk to us about... And while Matthew Buck would not talk to us, defense attorney Christopher Decker says many sex offenders have been targeted because of registries, and their constitutionality is now being challenged.
Society is beginning to look more carefully at how and why and when we should require someone to register. And what are we really getting from this registration?
This is what I read in court.
Stallon fought the motion to deregister, speaking out in court. But Judge Philip Douglas still granted the request, citing Buck's law license as a factor. Hi, Judge Douglas. This is Jacqueline Allen. We called him several times for comment with no response. He was voted off the bench last year, but granted the request last month before his term ended.
I think it really is a slap in the face to the victim.
Stallone wants the law changed, once others warned about Buck and other sex offenders no longer on the registry. And really, she just wants her life back. Before.
Everything that has happened all stems back to Matthew Buck. What if that had never happened?
So how often are judges granting these motions to deregister? Well, we checked in the 18th Judicial District where this happened, and the majority are granted. Last year, of the 23 filed, 14 were granted, only 7 were denied, and 2 are still waiting for hearings.
That is shocking.
It is shocking. I think most all of us had no idea that such a loophole existed.
And these crimes have such an impact on these victims.
Absolutely. Obviously, yes. Thank you, Jacqueline.
Thanks, Jacqueline.